still in lockdown within the UK. What we're talking about a little bit more on that now, in terms of just how people are feeling, in terms of people feeling a bit fed up with it all, people feeling a bit anxious, stuff like that. It's understandable. So what we're going to do is look at ways and top tips that might help combat that. One of them is CPD and bettering yourself, maybe training in something that you've always wanted to do, or something that you can do remotely. We'll come on to that in a little bit. Building a habit. A lot of people have talked about getting themselves fitter, getting themselves into the habit of doing things differently, maybe sleep, drinking more, eating healthier, cooking, meal prepping, whatever. Again, great, fantastic idea. Again, we'll come into that a little bit more in a minute, because the reason I want to come into those a little bit more in a minute is because before you do any of that, you have to make sure you have some kind of structure to it. If you haven't got some kind of structure to it, then what happens is it tends to fall to pieces. So after a couple of weeks of doing it, you'll be thinking, oh, I'm doing really good on this, I'm doing great. And then it's something will happen on this day and it'll knock you off track. And then the next day, oh, well, that happened yesterday, so I'll just leave it for today and I'll do it again tomorrow. And you don't end up doing it, or when you do end up doing it, it's sort of half-assed and you're not really achieving anything by doing it then. I know, I've been there, I'm pretty sure most of us have, and it just gets a bit frustrating. And then what we end up doing is, especially within a lockdown situation, we end up falling back into the same rut, and struggling mentally, physically, whichever. We've all seen what's going on. And how people are really struggling with that. So we want to sort of try and highlight a bit of positivity in that. So, dead simple. I've just knocked this up in sort of 5 minutes. Just a little diagram, almost like a rota. So, especially for those of us that aren't working as normal at the moment, so we might be working from home or we might be furloughed. You're used to sticking to some kind of schedule, you're used to sticking to some kind of diary at work or rota or whichever. Having that taken away from you and just being like, off you go, you're on your own, can be a little bit sort of daunting if you want. At first you're like, oh yeah, great, so I haven't got to go to work, I haven't got to do this, I haven't got to that. Right, that's great up until like a few days, and then if you're anything like me, you're bored stiff and you're wanting to find something to do, So, like I say, a little structure like that, dead easy. So I've planned out where I might do my exercise. So I've looked at things like my ROMWOD, stretching, mobility, whatever. That's all in the morning, because research shows that that's probably better for you in the morning to do that. It sort of sets you up for the day. Going on from there, I've got gaps within my day because I haven't filled out certain parts. But obviously, as a father, I want to be spending time with my family, my little boy. So that's probably going to be filled massively by the Paw Patrol, Thomas the Tank Engine and things like that. So we've got things like work on or around the house. So there's things around the house that needs doing. I wouldn't normally have time to get them done due to being working full time and obviously, being a dad and things like that. So that's something I can look at doing. On top of that, it could be anything really, like I mentioned to you earlier, your CPD. So it could be, right, I'm going to pick a skill that I've always wanted to do. For me, in the first lockdown, it was qualify as a strength and conditioning coach. I've got a lot of stuff behind me with my training and my coaching, but I wanted that strength and conditioning one because that one seemed like it would slot perfectly in with everything else. So I'd done that, and I achieved it, and I was really proud of that. So that could be something that I could have put on one of the other days, just whether it's an hour, 2 hours, whatever. It's just there. Obviously, there's household tasks you can do, cleaning, ironing, washing, etc. That can go in there as well if you want to. And then at the night time, afternoon time, there's just a few more bits and dabs that I'd do exercise-wise. So it might be an S&C total body session, a strength focus session, an ab session, and then just for a bit of fun, a bit of high intensity or family hit if you want. So it's just a bit of fun, half an hour, get everybody moving. That sort of thing could go in there as well. And then obviously that's only 5 days. I haven't put the weekend in there because then my weekend I can have to rest and recover and things like that. I might do a Sunday run day. A lot of people do that, and that just, again, a bit of headspace, just clears your mind a little bit, gets you out, gets you some fresh air. You know, we could put daily walks in there. Me and my little boy enjoy going on a little walk down to feed the ducks and whatever else. So that's obviously in there as well. You know, and there's all sorts you can put in there, and it just helps build the structure throughout your day. And then what you can do is you start getting used to that structure. It's almost like following a rota at work again, and it just builds that correct habit again, and getting you used to sort of filling your day and not feeling so anxious, not feeling like you've got nothing to do, not sitting around the house doing nothing all day, and then thinking at the end of it, well, I've just wasted a day. Because that's essentially what's happening to a lot of people at the moment. You know, going on from that, obviously it's just building there. In terms of building habits, if it is something like, oh, I want to work on my hydration, I don't drink enough, that's a classic one. You know, it's dead easy. If you want to build a habit, focus on one at a time. So if I wanted to get fitter, then I've got to look at the elements which involve me getting fitter. So one thing for me is sleep. Again, having a toddler, it's difficult to say the least. Last night he was up singing a song that he'd made up himself, a moon pop song or something, at 1 o'clock in the morning. That was fun. So you know, you've got to sort of think about things like that. So obviously sleep's one for me. So I've got my Garmin which I track my sleep on. My aim by the end of this week is to average 8 hours of sleep. So rather than go, I've got to get 8 hours of sleep every night, I want to average 8 hours of sleep a night across the week. So it proves to me then it's getting a little bit better, and I'm building and I'm progressing further and further. Next week for me, again, it's going to be hydration. Hydration is something that I know I need to do. As a coach, I know how important it is to hydrate for performance and things like that. And this isn't just going off a gym perspective. Like, if you're not hydrated enough, if you're dehydrated, then it affects a lot of other things as well. You're not just talking performance within the gym; it can affect performances at work and all sorts. General health as well. So what we want to do is make sure that for me is one in there. It might be for you as well. So what I'll do is next week I'll be like, right, last week I hammered sleep. I'm building on that habit slowly. Now I'm going to add another one in there, and it's going to be hydration. And then the following week it might be, right, now I'm going to start planning my meals and sectioning my meals out and making sure I'm eating the right amount of protein, or I'm eating the right amount of carbs, or whatever it might be based on your individual goal. And it depends how much you actually want to break it down as well. It might just be, I need to eat 3 meals a day and 2 snacks, or I need to eat 5 smaller meals a day. You know, it might be I need to exercise 3 times a week. So you might start off doing 1 or 2 and then build on it each week. All you're doing is setting yourself goals and breaking them down, so it becomes more achievable, because you're starting to build on habits better. You're not ramming things in there and just being like, right, I've got to drink 3 litres of water a day, I've got to sleep 8 hours a day, I've got to train 3 times a week, I've got to then go and make sure I've done my CPD course, then I've got to do some work and make sure I get my numbers across to my boss, or what, you know. You're just going to massively affect the stress in your brain. You're going to massively drive yourself up the wall. And as much as you probably will be busy, it won't be a good busy. It'll be, you know, you get to the end of the night, oh, I'm sick of this. You know what I mean? And that's when you start, again, wanting that normality back, which we all do. But you almost want to get to that point where we're building on that and we're getting better. So when you're coming out the back end of this lockdown, you know, and we're over the coronavirus, and, you know, people can go back to their lives and their families and things like that, and start living some form of new normality again, then, you know, that'll be fantastic, and that's what we all want. But in order to do that, then we've got to almost stick with what we're doing, build that structure, and keep chasing that dream, chase that goal, and keep getting better. Like I say, whether it's something to do with health and fitness, whether it's something to do with work, you might be chasing a promotion. It might be that if you get a different qualification, it might help you towards that. It might be that you might be like me, you might be absolutely pants on Microsoft Excel, and it might be, right, I'm going to learn how to use this. I've known people, like myself, I've done my strength and conditioning course. I know people who've signed up to sign language courses, learn a new language, read more books, things like that. A lot of people, those tend to be the common ones that tend to be out there at the moment. So just little things like that, and do it step by step. What you'll find is you're slowly building week by week by week, and then all of a sudden 6 weeks have gone by, and it might be, hopefully, that our Prime Minister and our government are saying actually we can ease restrictions, or actually we can come out of a lockdown and we can go back to normality and things like that. Obviously I'm just saying 6 weeks is a round figure. I'm not surmising that that's actually going to happen. So we'll just go from there, guys. But like I say, always looking out, and if you need any support, any advice or anything like that, I think it's important that as a community we all stick together. So feel free to drop any comments below. Hit the subscribe button, and you can chase me up on any of my social media platforms as well. So Instagram is the best one to get me on, at coach_luke.s. But yeah, awesome, guys. Take care and look after yourself.